Springfield Township, Ohio, a patrol unit stops a suspended driver with an active warrant. The officer approaches, identifies himself, and instructs the motorist to shut off the engine and place the keys on the dash. In the passenger area, a pet raccoon named Chewy is loose. As the officer watches, the raccoon grabs a glass pipe. The driver blurts out that it's her meth pipe and tries to retrieve it. The officer stops her, labels it evidence, and secures the scene. Subsequent checks lead to a felony drug possession count and 3 paraphernalia charges, alongside a citation for driving under suspension. The department places the raccoon in a carrier and hands it to wildlife authorities. Relatives assume care. The officer's body cam captures the bizarre centerpiece, the raccoon pawing and playing with the pipe as the driver admits it is used for meth. Vincennes, Indiana, nighttime on North 2nd Street. A trooper spots a man piloting a children's Power Wheels Jeep in live traffic. The toy has no headlights or reflectors. The driver is 51-year-old John Albert McKee. The trooper orders a field sobriety test, walk and turn, one-leg stand, and a Romberg balance that the driver holds roughly 17 seconds with eyelid tremors. The man denies alcohol, then, during transport for chemical testing at Good Samaritan Hospital, concedes he has crystal meth in his system. Hospital results confirm methamphetamine and marijuana. Because of a prior OWI, the new operating while intoxicated case is elevated to a felony. The Power Wheels Jeep is effectively unseen in the dark. The trooper narrates that he will issue only a warning for no lights on the toy, but impairment testing proceeds and forms the basis of the charge. Columbus, Ohio, a marked unit contacts a 23-year-old driver named Brian after erratic operation. He's parked, slumped, eyes fluttering. He says he's just tired, hasn't slept in a day and a half, 2 days, denies alcohol and drugs, and struggles to complete sentences. The officer notes Columbus's ongoing overdose surge and immediately moves to secure the keys, shut off the vehicle, and request a medic. She deploys Narcan, reports dosing over the air, and continues with additional naloxone as other units arrive. After multiple administrations split between nostrils, the driver begins to revive. Officers locate a knife nearby and note his age and identity as he becomes responsive. He's transported to a hospital. Later records yield no further public update on his condition. The body cam sequence underlines the tempo. Commands to place keys on the roof, the medic request, repeated Narcan dosing, and the slow return of breathing and awareness. Interstate 70, Ohio, March 22, 2024, about 1:30 p.m. An Ohio State Highway Patrol sergeant sees a white Penske box truck with out-of-state plates traveling east in the rain with headlights off. The truck weaves and tailgates a semi. Then, the driver, identified as Andrea C. Rodriguez, leans away from the window pillar as if trying to not be seen. Asked for license, rental agreement, and travel details, she says she rented in Tucson, Arizona, and is headed to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, to move, but will drive the truck back west later. She alternately describes it as a personal move and as "I used to move things," and the sergeant flags a heavy cut-proof lock on the cargo door. He remarks on a strong deodorizer or fabric softener odor saturating the cab, different from a typical dangling air freshener. A second trooper arrives. The sergeant reviews her timeline, left Tucson on Wednesday, slept in hotels, arrived quickly by Friday afternoon. He questions the economics of the rental, about $1,100 for 7 days, and the odd plan to return the vehicle by driving it all the way back. With mounting inconsistencies and indicators, they deploy a canine for a free air sniff. The dog alerts, providing probable cause. They open the cargo area and find duffel bags stacked and taped. Inside, 110 pounds of cocaine split into 50 brick-style parcels. Counting proceeds on camera. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's 12, that's 30, 31, 32, 50. Street value is estimated at roughly $1.75 million. Interviewed roadside, Andrea says she was to deliver the load to New York City for $50,000, arranged through a man she met in Mexico 2 weeks ago. She states the handoff occurred on a rural road in Arizona. Troopers discuss a potential controlled delivery with DEA involvement to aid her sentencing exposure. They emphasize the local stance against trafficking and ask her to consider cooperation. Later records indicate she did not proceed with a controlled delivery, likely due to operational compromise. She faces 2 first-degree felonies, trafficking and possession. Statutory exposure reaches up to 25 years imprisonment and fines up to $50,000. Navajo County, Arizona, a deputy pulls a car for an obstruction hanging from the rearview mirror. He immediately notices a passenger under a blanket and asks the driver to lift it so he can see hands and ensure there's no weapon. The driver says the passenger is Daisy, claims she's 19, and that they met 2 days ago in Las Vegas. Moments earlier, he had referred to her as his girlfriend, then backtracks, just a friend. The deputy, citing human smuggling and trafficking concerns, questions the sudden interstate travel, the evasive off-ramp to a dead-end road, and the lack of basic biographical details. Backup arrives. Deputies ask Daisy for her age and last name. She first echoes the 19 claim, then states she's 17. Officers observe what appear to be fake tattoos, possibly to alter identification. A canine trained on cocaine, methamphetamine, heroin, and fentanyl alerts on the vehicle, granting probable cause for a search. During the search, deputies note multiple knives and no luggage for the female passenger. As the interview continues, the girl admits she is 13 and missing from Alabama. On the other side of the stop, investigators contact family and confirm a recent runaway report dated July 28, 2024. Detectives then learn this is not Raul's first contact with the same minor. In 2024, he was arrested in Massachusetts for taking her, then released on a $50,000 bond. In April 2025, she disappeared again. She later says they first connected through her brother and chatted through online games like Fortnite. According to case updates summarized by investigators at the scene, Raul drove across multiple states to Nevada, was now wanted on a $100,000 warrant and would be extradited to Alabama. He faces interference with custody, a Class C felony carrying up to 10 years. The stop began with a mirror obstruction and ended with a missing child recovered.
Hernando County, Florida, April 5, 2024. A deputy stops a pickup whose tag doesn't match the vehicle. The driver, 60-year-old Charles Legault, says the plate belongs to his ex-wife and admits to smoking weed. He denies harder drugs. The deputy obtains consent to search. Within minutes, he finds baggies with a white residue, then a glass pipe consistent with meth use. The driver keeps insisting he has had heart attacks and doesn't use meth. While reaching across the cabin, the deputy lifts a length of PVC with a center valve marked safe or armed. A sudden chemical reaction triggers a violent pop and a cloud. The deputy staggers back, coughing, and radios for help. Something just exploded in this truck. Hazmat guidance later identifies a binary chemical pipe bomb. Chlorine product in one chamber, brake fluid in the other, separated by a hand valve. Turning the valve allows the liquids to mix and generate toxic gas and pressure. The deputy, experiencing respiratory distress, still handcuffs Legault and isolates the scene. A warrant-based follow-up locates 30-plus grams of meth, 2 handguns, 20 rounds, and an unregistered silencer. Charges include possession of an explosive device, aggravated battery on an officer for the exposure, armed trafficking, possession with intent, and illegal weapons possession. The deputy recovers fully after hospital treatment. The truck is seized, and bomb techs dismantle remaining components. Albuquerque Corridor, New Mexico, July 5, 2022, just after midnight. A state police sergeant stops a silver pickup for multiple unsafe lane changes and an aggressive too-fast merge onto I-25. Inside are 6 minors. The driver is nervous, fumbling documents, insisting he's just fine. The sergeant notices a teenage girl who looks far younger than the driver claims. He asks ages directly. The answers conflict until the girl quietly says 14. Another admits 13. The sergeant sees the driver's pants unbuttoned and orders him to zip and step out. Field sobriety follows. Performance is poor. The kids say they thought they were going to crash on the ramp. The driver is identified as Jeremy Guthrie. As parents are called to the roadside to retrieve their children, investigators begin to piece together a larger pattern: messages on phones, hotel references, and a prior contact with one of the minors. Detectives later document a year-long physical relationship with a 12-year-old, motel encounters, and pregnancy with a reported self-managed miscarriage. Charges expand from DUI, child abuse, and open container to crimes involving minors. On August 5, 2024, a judge sentences Guthrie to 36 years. The sergeant's lane violation stop likely prevented a crash and exposed ongoing abuse that had crossed jurisdictions. East Baton Rouge area, Louisiana, July 29, 2020. A trooper clocks a black Chevrolet Camaro at 20 miles per hour over the limit. The driver, 18-year-old Michael Mitchell Jr., claims it's his brother's car. The trooper notices bullet holes near the driver's door and calls for cover. The driver struggles with basic questions: residence, registration, insurance, then concedes there's a doobie in the ashtray. Another unit contacts family. The vehicle is tied to Michael Robinson Jr., who is missing. With probable cause developing, officers detain the driver and open the trunk. Inside is Robinson's body, deceased from multiple gunshot wounds. Mitchell is arrested on the spot. In an initial interview, he names Cameron Poe as the shooter, saying a robbery plan to see Mike because he had money spiraled. After verification work clears Poe, Mitchell recants and claims self-defense during a fight. Investigators highlight inconsistencies in physical evidence that contradicts the shifting narrative. Prosecutors decline a murder trial in favor of a plea tied to evidentiary posture. Mitchell receives 36 years for manslaughter. The traffic stop for speed, plus the visible bullet strikes, is what broke open a missing person homicide within minutes. Closing statement. Across these stops, officers began with minor violations: a suspended driver, a toy Jeep, a mirror obstruction, a plate mismatch, a simple speeding ticket, an uncovered overdose intervention, major narcotics trafficking, exploitation of minors, an improvised chemical bomb, and a homicide victim hidden in a trunk. The pattern is consistent. Small indicators compound. Inconsistent stories, body language shifts, odors, hardware like cut-proof locks or visible damage, and routine becomes consequential. In each case, careful questioning and procedural steps turned a traffic stop into a rescue, a recovery, or a felony arrest.